If it was easy, everyone will do it. Yes. Other studios will be so full of everyone, like, hey, we are all doing yoga, yay.
Namaste Yogi. My name is Goga, kinda like yoga.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much, Faith, for having me for this amazing and probably my first ever interview. Being on the other side of the camera, I'm so glad you thought we should do this, and it's nice just to connect with your community and my community. My name is Goga, like yoga. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa. So I'm a yoga instructor, certified, in the Ashtanga and Hatha styles of yoga. That's a whole thing. In addition to that, I'm also an ICT professional and also trained in policy studies. I think it was kind of by accident. It's not like I literally, when people were choosing careers and stuff, I decided to be a yoga instructor. I just, had been practicing for a while, 2 years of practice, and then felt I should probably, take things up a notch by becoming a yoga teacher. And that's what made me pick it as a career. So it's like, I wouldn't say like it's a main hustle because, in this part of the world, we are still yet to have yoga as a mainstream kind of thing to do. So what happens is that it's what I do like on my part time. It could be the weekends, maybe weekday evenings when I have some bit of time. So it's not something like I do on a full-time basis yet. But yes, it's a career that I'm growing in addition to the mainstream, pushing paper and the policy work. Not so exciting as teaching yoga. Yeah, that's in a nutshell what made me pick it up. I didn't start yoga at a tender age, not at all. I started yoga like 5 years ago. It was in 2017. I was going through a very dark time and patch in my career, to be honest. And one of my friends actually suggested that, let's go to this place. Maybe this will take your mind off things and, it will make you get back to what you used to be. In fact, one of the things one of my friends says was that I was falling apart unknowingly, and I needed something to get my mind off, off my head. I needed to get my head out of it, whatever I was going through. And yeah, so I went to a yoga studio. Oh my goodness, it was so hectic. It was annoying. I questioned everything I've ever done, in my life during that first crazy sweaty yoga session. But I kept going back. I know I fled the first class. I didn't even stay until the end. But the following weekend I went back in this community center which was offering free yoga classes in Nairobi, and I kept going back and again, and every day I used to see like a shift, be it in my body, be it in my patience in getting into postures. And I was like, I love this stuff. It's like changing a lot of perspectives, in how I take things. I started growing more patience, calmer. I stopped worrying about things that were really making me worry during that time. So within a short time, I think after 3 years of practice, I decided I think I would want to definitely, because I love the space I was in. I even used to have a lot of body image issues back then. I could never even expose myself in a certain way, do certain things. But yoga changed all that for me, and that's why I said I would definitely want to do this and maybe help other people shift their perspectives. And that's what made me pursue a career as a yoga teacher and sign up for it. So that's the nutshell with my journey. It's a 5-year journey. It's not exactly been rosy, but it's been very incremental. The progress has been very incremental, because yoga is not like something that you say, I will go, I'll be able to get flexible today, tick that box, move on. No, it's something very incremental. So it demands a lot of patience. And for me, I liked that journey and how patience, was able to make me achieve things that I never even thought possible. I was also not a very sporty person when I was growing up. I never used to do those school sports things at all. So people always tend to think that I'm an acrobat and stuff like that. I was that kid who used to just be reading books in class, pass exams, become the top of the class and stuff like that. I never used to participate in, the physical education kind of activities that much. I used to dread them actually. So it's been a very interesting shift that I did as an adult, and one of the best decisions I ever made when I was turning 30. Oh my goodness, everybody's always asking me that question. Let me put it this way. So when you come from this side of the world where we are not exactly vegetarian, so people always tend to think that, as a yogi, I observe a vegetarian diet strictly. I can't eat any animal products. You get all that thing. I've grown in a community where we take animal products. So I wouldn't say that I'm vegetarian, to be honest. I'm working towards that goal not because it's an ideal lifestyle, but it's because of how certain foods actually are processed in a very specific way with your body. So in yoga, for instance, the reason why you are not supposed to, for instance, eat before you go to a yoga class, or maybe eat 2 hours before you walk into a yoga class, is because of the effect. When you eat, and yoga postures tend to be very contortive in such a way, you end up twisting your body in certain way, either you are squeezing your abdomen or something like that. So they don't entirely, yoga doesn't demand entirely like you totally overhaul your diet and become vegetarian. Not at all. It just means you need to be more mindful in how you eat. What is mindful eating? Mindful eating is like, you probably heard one of these politicians in Kenya say, you only eat when you're hungry. So you can't be stuffing your tummy and, you're already full. It doesn't make any sense. So you always want to be very mindful. And what do you eat? Do you eat foods that actually bring health to your body? So I've found myself in the past couple of years going into more vegetarian kind of options, natural based kind of diets. I still take meat. I'm not totally like wean myself off meat. I tend to take more white meat, fish, chicken, and stuff like that. Because the society I've grown up in, I wasn't raised in such a way that I can be entirely vegetarian. But it's a journey it's something that maybe in the next couple of years, if I choose to totally forgo, it will happen. But yes, the most critical thing, if you forget everything else I've said in this interview, just know that yoga demands you to be very mindful in how you eat. They say you should eat to live, not live to eat. That's actually one of the principles. So think of it that way. So mindful eating, and that's literally the whole gospel, about diet when it comes to it. But if you choose to follow a vegetarian diet, you're not stopped from it. It actually makes practice very easier, because when you eat lightly and you go and do a yoga class, generally even your body will change. Because, for instance, you take fruits, they're digested very fast. So even vegetarian, options, they're digested very fast. So by the time you get into the studio after 2 hours after eating, you're so light, even when you can be able to do those jump backs, you can do those twists, those postures that end up squeezing your abs and tummy. It gets a bit easier. Oh yeah, good question. Basically, you just need to have a certification. The basic certification we get as yoga instructors is the 200-hour certificate. 200-hour means that you got 200 hours of instruction. I don't mean that you went and sat somewhere for 200 hours. No, not at all. It means you've been instructed for over 200 hours. That ideally takes practically like a month. So for instance, I had to go to India for my certification. My first certification was in India at a place called Rishikesh. That's right at the Himalayas. So I did my first training, 200 hours. It took me about a month just to be able to achieve that 200 hours. And it was a very arduous experience, because you wake up like very early in the morning, at 5 in the morning, and your classes start at around that time. And then until, I think we used to retire at about 9 p.m., thereabouts in the evening. So the day is so packed with classes where you have to wake up, do exercises, you have to do theory, you have to do all these things about body. It was like it's a whole curriculum that you have to follow, and you are examined based on the curriculum just to be able to get that certification at the end of the 200 hours. So once you certify the school or the shala that you've done the 200 hours, and they're able to give you the certificate, and then you can say you are a 200-hour certified instructor. It doesn't stop there, because getting that certificate doesn't mean that you become the pro. Actually, learning starts from the certificate, because some people get the certificate and they just go home and they're like, oh, this wasn't for me, definitely. But some people may actually, I literally started practicing after my 200 hours, because I totally understood now how I'm supposed to get in postures and stuff like that. So for me, it was a very illuminating experience. I didn't even start teaching. I think it took me a whole year after my first certification. So what happens is that you can even go for a second certification. So I have a second certificate, which is a 300 hours worth of training. So in total, it comes to about 500 hours. And you can keep on advancing this. You can even get to 1,000 hours worth of instruction, as you keep evolving as a yoga instructor. But the basic thing, you need to have that 200-hour certificate so that it's able to, you can't be handling people's bodies without a certification. They may get injured. So you need to understand the mechanics of the body for you to be able to help people get into certain postures. Otherwise, they'll get injured. You may not know, what you're doing if you just get into it like, oh, let me help you get into a yoga posture without knowing the mechanics behind that posture. So certification is very important, as a yoga instructor generally, just be able to help others. That's a hard one. Let's see. Get your mat. Just show up on your mat. Get a mat. Show up. I mean, yoga doesn't demand any fancy equipment. It's very simple. Look at me. I'm using a very cotton, it's literally like a blanket, a cotton yoga mat, to sit here next to the river and just talk to you. And I'm already in a yoga posture here. And you don't even need a lot of space. You can literally just get that tiny space next to your bed and just get your mat, get an app, or just open maybe one of those nice, simple beginner videos on YouTube just to be able to practice. Showing up and unrolling your mat is usually the hardest part. And for any person who is beginning yoga, they will definitely attest to this. You go to your first class, the teacher takes you through a series of postures and you are shaking the entire time. You're wondering, what the hell did I sign up for? Start questioning everything you've ever believed in. But then you keep showing up, not because you want to be perfect, but because you want to challenge and test your limits. And the time you realize that the progress in yoga is very incremental. It doesn't happen overnight. I get students coming to me, say that, oh, we want to be flexible like you. We want to do those things that you're doing. And I'm like, you're bowing down to about 5 years of practice. I'm bowing down to my teachers. My teachers are people like who have even over 10 years and counting worth of practice. I can't compare myself to them. It's not going to be possible. They started practice like way back. And where they are in their practice, they are advancing their own practice. They're also having other guys who have been practicing yoga for even over 20 years. So people come here and they want like quick results, but they don't have the patience to be able to, enjoy the beauty that is the journey. Because yoga is really about the journey. It's not about the destination. Because you go there your first time, you realize, oh, I can't get a six-pack on day one. Oh, I can't get flexible on day one. So what happens? Let me go on day 2. Day 3, you keep showing up and you realize, wait a minute, I can literally touch my toes. And that becomes like progress for you. Next time you come and you're like, wait a minute, I can actually like squat. I can get my heels down on the ground. So that actually makes the reward worth the journey. So what I would definitely encourage anybody who wants to start practicing, get a mat, show up. And you may not even need a mat. If you can't afford a mat, get even your blanket, just a very nice, decent space. The reason we use mats, it's very complex and scientific, just be able to regulate the body temperature when your body is in contact with the ground. That's why we use mats, but you can get anything that is close to a mat. And then show up. Another advice may be get a yoga instructor. There are a lot of teachers, especially in Nairobi here where I am, who actually can help you through your growth journey as a yoga practitioner. So speak to an instructor. They understand the mechanics of getting into the posture. If they are certified and they're experienced teachers, they'll be able to like show you amazing things that you didn't even know about your body. So that's very crucial, because yoga teachers, I always encourage you, promote a teacher today, promote an instructor. It's very important, not because, and it's quite an investment, because yoga teachers don't come cheap, guys. They don't come cheap. They've been trained. You're bowing down to their skill and their years of experience. It's an investment in yourself, not in them. It's going to help them fend for their families for sure. But when you look back after 6 months of some of the things you can do, you will be bowing down to your instructors and what they've been able to show you. So technically, that's in a nutshell what I would really say to anybody who wants to start practice. And the most crucial, it takes time. You won't achieve things on day one. It takes time, it's very progressive, and that is the beauty of the journey. You know, when you appreciate the journey to get to where you are getting into to practice, it makes you appreciate where you are more. And you can never arrive. Even some of us who have been practicing for over 5 years now, we never arrive. Every day we see new postures and we are like, what the hell? Like, we think we are still there, but then we realize that no, we still have to keep practicing, otherwise we lose that practice. So it's a lot of things, but you know, very small initiative steps that you need to take. Just be able to show up. Show up on your mat. Let the magic happen once you are on the mat, not while you are planning or thinking about getting onto the mat. COVID happened last year. Hello. I was literally seated at home. I could no longer teach my students because we had to social distance and stuff like that. A lot happened last year in 2020. I used to teach this nice, amazing community of the Kenya Police Football Club. We used to have a nice 6 a.m. Monday morning class. And I remember when COVID happened and we had to stop these classes because, you know, people are not meeting in person. All in-person meetings had been cancelled. It was quite a blow to me because I was like, I just started teaching as an instructor. And I was like, what's the best way to be able to, put my skills to use and also share the practice with my community? And then I was like, just seated in my house, idling around, and I was like, wait a minute. I have my small phone here. I have my tripod. I have my computer. How about I break down postures every week just to be able to demystify the yoga practice to my community? Because everybody used to ask me, what are these things you post on social media? How should we be able to do these kind of things? And that's why I was able to sign up for, the channel. And then I started the channel. My first videos, of course, were definitely not the best. And I think, that's one of the things yoga teaches you. The patience in the journey, that is editing, that is shooting, that is getting the correct angles. Oh my goodness, this is just a lot of work. But at least, even if it was that one person who had watched your video and just asked you a question about it, for me, I've reached somebody in the community. And it's been growing the community step by step. It's not been easy because, oh my goodness, YouTube just brings out the worst in you. I think people, and I always say that, I think any YouTuber needs therapy from YouTube in their budget because of the work it involves to create content every single day, just to show up, go behind the camera, whatever you're using, and just create content. It's not exactly easy. So creating content for the community has been very nice. And for me, it's just those guys who reach out to me. I don't know. They're spread across the world asking me about my yoga practice, asking me how I've made getting into a posture get so simple that they never even used to understand it when they were in a yoga studio. That for me is very rewarding. And it means that I've done what is expected of me. And that was the whole purpose and the goal of my channel. That aspect of creating a community just around yoga, especially when you come from this side of the world. Yoga is still a very, how do I put it? It's a very fledgling community here in Kenya. So it still takes a lot of work. It needs a lot of effort. It needs a lot of practice just to even get people in a yoga studio. So you can imagine creating a YouTube channel and asking guys to come practice yoga every week. Guys, it's not easy. It's not really easy. So for me, reaching out to that community was the main motivation for me to start my YouTube channel. And I'm glad it's growing brick by brick. It's not exactly the biggest YouTube channel. I don't want the pressure that comes with, of course, it growing exponentially, because that means more work, means more content, means more pressure to create videos. But I like how it's been very nicely progressive, small steps. And every day you're just growing brick by brick. And for me, that has been very rewarding as a content creator. Show up on the mat, unroll your mat, show up even when you don't feel like. I'm a certified instructor, but sometimes I even still struggle to go to the studio. So you can imagine, it takes a lot of willpower just to be able to get yourself into that space. Show up, because the moment you show up on your mat and unroll that mat and you start practicing, trust me, you're not going to go back to sleep. You will actually finish the course. And that's literally the whole lesson that yoga teaches you. learn to finish what you've started. Learn to be patient in the journey, because if it was easy, everyone will do it. That's why studios are not, other studios will be so full of everyone, like, hey, we are all doing yoga, yay. Go to any yoga studio, you can literally count the people in the studio in your hand. If it were easy, everyone will do it. And that's why you have to, we always say that you have to make it intentional. Practice has to be so intentional, like you actually have to make a deliberate effort to show up. And for me, the biggest lesson I always tell everyone is, unroll your mat and let the magic happen. That's it in a nutshell. So thank you very much, Faith, for having me. This was really nice, insightful, just to also help me grow the community. I would also encourage them to just subscribe to my yoga channel by clicking that subscribe button when they go to Yoga with Goga. Just be able to promote a brother, just be able to create more content, that is able to help the community. And also it's also a community, because I like the engagement that I get anytime I post a video, because everybody is always like writing very nice and amazing comments. They're asking you questions, so they're literally like engaging even on the content that you're posting. For me, that is very fulfilling, because it means that people actually like engaging with the stuff that you're putting out there. So I would also encourage them also just to keep supporting, share with their friends, and above all, get a yoga teacher just to be able to help you navigate your journey in the practice. So thank you very much for having me. This was fun. Until next time, in yoga we normally say namaste. I acknowledge the divine that is in you, and thank you very much. Bye.